So you think you've seen America? Maybe hit the Rockies once, posted a snow pic, felt cute, moved on. But here's the thing. There are towns, actual, functioning towns, high in the mountains that look like fantasy movies forgot to pick them up after filming. The problem? Most people only know the basic tourist traps. Aspen, Jackson Hole, yeah, we get it. But miss the right mountain town, and you're either overspending or completely underwhelmed. Worse, you're still stuck in suburbia thinking that's the dream. Today, we're climbing past the cliches and going straight to the peak. 10 mountain towns that are so wild, weird, and gorgeous, you'll double-check the GPS. One town legally declared itself the center of the universe. Another has more stars in the sky than residents. Germany in one? It's basically Germany, but in Washington. Think you know the best cities? Let's find out. Oh, and wait till you hear which town in New Mexico has views that'll make your jaw drop. And trust me, you're not ready for what's next. Choosing wrong could cost you thousands, or your sanity. No pressure. Like this video, so the algorithm thinks I'm important. Subscribe because someday you'll want to escape, and this channel is basically your break glass in case of boring life kit. Now hit that button before your boss walks by. Let's break it down. Number 10. Wallace, Idaho. Alright, kicking off the list at number 10 is Wallace, Idaho, a town so charming, so frozen in time, it looks like a steampunk film set collided with the Oregon Trail. Nestled deep in the Bitterroot Mountains, Wallace has less than 1,000 residents and more historic buildings than functioning stoplights. The whole downtown is on the National Register of Historic Places because apparently Wallace peaked in 1910 and just decided to stay there. Expect old-school saloons, eerie mining tunnels, and at least one guy who probably uses a rotary phone on purpose. But don't let the Wild West vibes fool you. Wallace isn't just an antique shop with a zip code. The cost of living here is 14% lower than the national average, and rent for a one-bedroom? Around $850 per month. Crime is practically non-existent. The violent crime rate is 73% below the national average. And fun fact, it's legally the center of the universe. No, really. There's a manhole cover that proves it. Science. Nah. Confidence. Local quote from Reddit. We have one grocery store, 0 Starbucks, and more ATVs than humans. And I wouldn't change a thing. Honestly, it's the kind of town where you either find inner peace or join a conspiracy theory group. Maybe both. But living here isn't all silver mines and sunshine. Jobs? Scarce unless you're into mining history, tourism, or becoming a professional Bigfoot spotter. Winters? Brutal. Snowfall averages 80+ inches a year, which is great if you're a snowplow. Not so much if you drive a Prius. Also, let's talk internet speed, slower than a moose on melatonin. Can we talk about the train horn that still goes off like it's 1887? It's charming at first, until you realize it's the town's unofficial alarm clock. At 5:40 a.m. Every single day. I came here for mountain serenity, not a Thomas the Tank Engine remix. But picture this. You step outside your creaky log cabin, crisp mountain air in your lungs, the scent of pine and bacon from the diner drifting over, and then BM. You eat it on a patch of hidden black ice, right in front of a store called Ye Old Mining Swag. And if you think Wallace is stuck in past, the next town turned weirdness into an art form, literally. Number 9. Ouray, Colorado. Coming in hot at number 9 is Ouray, Colorado, aka the Switzerland of America. But let's be honest, if Switzerland had more jeeps, fewer banks, and a weekly chance of avalanche warnings, this would be it. This tiny town tucked in a box canyon in the San Juan Mountains has jaw-dropping 360 degrees views, natural hot springs, and more ice climbers than sane people. The vibe? Small-town western charm, with a tourist season that lasts longer than some people's relationships. Here's the good, the bad, and the bougie. Median home price? $625,000 and climbing. That's not a typo for a town with fewer than 1,100 people. Rent? Around $1,500 per month, assuming you can find a place. Crime rate? Practically non-existent. Like Disney movie level safe. Cost of living? 17% above the national average. Job market? Hope you like hospitality, seasonal work, or remote coding from a hot spring. But hey, you get free scenery with every overpriced breakfast burrito. Ouray is the kind of place where a sandwich costs $14, but the view behind it is technically priceless. So, who's really losing here? Living in Ouray feels like you won a sweepstakes, and then realize the prize came with altitude sickness and no target within 50 miles. You'll trade Uber Eats for bear sightings and date nights for snow tire chains. Can we talk about the stairs? Why does every business here require a mini hike just to enter? I got winded trying to buy a scone. And don't even try to find parking in July unless you're willing to climb Everest with a latte. Bonus points if your car isn't a Subaru with a roof box the size of Rhode Island. Picture this. You wake up, step out onto your deck, and inhale crisp mountain air while staring at peaks that look photoshopped. A waterfall's roaring nearby. Then a deer casually walks across your lawn like it pays rent. Not bad, right? It's heaven if you like winter 8 months a year and seeing your ex every Tuesday because there's only one coffee shop. Be honest, would you trade fast Wi-Fi and delivery apps for this kind of mountain life? Yes or no? Or are you a weekend warrior who just wants the views without the move? And if you think Ouray is picture perfect, the next town rebuilt itself to look like Bavaria and somehow made it work. Number 8. Leavenworth, Washington. Number 8 on the list is Leavenworth, Washington, a mountain town that asked itself, what if we just went full Bavaria, and actually did it? This place is straight up Oktoberfest energy year-round. Every building in town looks like a gingerbread house. There are bratwurst stands, lederhosen rental shops, and a nutcracker museum. Yes, a whole museum for wooden jaw-breaking elves. It's like Disneyland met the sound of music, had a beer baby, and dropped it in the Cascades. But under all the yodeling charm is some seriously real data. Median home price, $735,000. For that money, you'd better love faux alpine shutters. Rent, around $1,600 per month, and it spikes during tourist season. Cost of living, 21% higher than the national average. Crime rate, low. Like, you're more likely to get hit by a falling snowflake than robbed, low. Job market, seasonal service-based and heavily tied to tourism. Unless you're a remote worker or an accordion prodigy, good luck. Living in Leavenworth means every day is Oktoberfest, which sounds great until you realize you're the one who has to work the beer tent. So yeah, Leavenworth is charming until your quiet Wednesday is interrupted by 400 tourists in dirndls taking selfies with a guy dressed as a pretzel. You'll pay big city rent for small town quirks, and the nearest Target is not near. Okay, real talk. Can we stop pretending it's normal to have Alpenhorn concerts in a town of 2,400 people? You can't even run to the corner store without bumping into a guy dressed like he lost a bet with a mountain goat. And don't even ask about parking. I once walked farther in Leavenworth than I did in my last 5K. But hey, imagine waking up to mountain views, hearing a violinist playing Mozart on the sidewalk, and wandering into a bakery that smells like cinnamon and taxidermy. Because why not? And yes, the sandwich here is still $14, but now it comes with a side of sauerkraut and an accordion solo. Wait, pause, this town has yodeling lessons. Like actual classes. I'm not saying I tried it, but my neighbors definitely called the cops. And if you thought Leavenworth leaned hard into the theme, the next town somehow went even weirder. And no, it's not in Oregon. Number 7. Cloudcroft, New Mexico. Coming in at number 7 is Cloudcroft, New Mexico, a town that sounds like it belongs in a sci-fi movie and kind of lives up to the name. This place sits at 8,676 feet above sea level. That's higher than Denver, higher than Flagstaff, and yes, higher than your cousin Kyle at Burning Man. Cloudcroft is the kind of town where the clouds hang below you, the pine forests feel like a dreamscape, and the air is so crisp it practically exfoliates your lungs. It's tiny, remote, quiet, and absolutely stunning. If Bob Ross painted a town, it might look like this. But let's get real. Cloudcroft's vibe is part bliss, part budget hiker fantasy, and part, what do you mean there's no Starbucks? Here's what the data says. Population, about 700 permanent residents. Blink and you've waved to half the town. Median home price, around $275,000, refreshingly low for a mountain town. Rent $900, $1,200/month. If you find availability, good luck. Crime rate, incredibly low, safer than 86% of U.S. towns. Job market, not great. Seasonal tourism, a few local shops, and that's about it. Better bring your remote gig or a solid retirement plan. Cloudcroft's job market is so small, you could fit all the listings on a postcard with room for a doodle. Now the flip side of paradise, small town quirks. Forget fast internet, fast food, or fast anything really. Cell service is spotty, stores close early, and winter, it gets cold. Like, good luck getting your car to start cold. The weather is a little confused. It's sunny, then snowing, then sunny while snowing. It's like nature hit shuffle and never looked back. Also, don't expect modern amenities. I tried to get a latte with oat milk, and they handed me black coffee and a confused look. Oat what? Still, imagine this. You step out of a creaky mountain cabin in the early morning, the ground crunching with light frost. Pines tower over you, and a deer casually strolls through your yard. It's silent, no honking, no leaf blowers, just the soft hum of wind, and your thoughts finally having room to breathe. Cloudcroft is great if you like peace, snow, and seeing the same 5 people at every event, including your ex. Cloudcroft's crime rate is lower than a monastery. Meanwhile, just 2 hours south in El Paso, you can witness 3 traffic accidents and a guy selling hot dogs from a lawn chair before noon. Now imagine living here. Morning sun glinting off snowy treetops. Quiet roads, with smoke in the air. You can go an entire day without hearing a siren or a sales pitch. For $275,000, that kind of calm is a statistical anomaly. And if you thought Cloudcroft was offbeat, the next town rebuilt itself to look like a European theme park, and somehow it works. Number 6, Ely, Minnesota. Welcome to Ely, Minnesota, where the population is small, the wilderness is huge, and your neighbor is probably a moose. Tucked on the edge of the Boundary Waters Canoe area, Ely is what happens when you combine Paul Bunyan energy with National Geographic scenery. It's a magnet for outdoorsy types, nature lovers, and that one guy in flannel who insists on calling it God's country. You come here to disconnect, mostly because the Wi-Fi is terrible and your phone's clinging to one bar like it's on life support. Here's the data behind the rugged charm. Median home price, around $200,000. Yes, really. That's less than a parking spot in San Francisco. Average rent, $750 to $950 per month. A miracle in 2025. Cost of living, 16% below the national average. Crime rate, extremely low. Ely is the kind of town where people still leave their doors unlocked, even when they shouldn't. Job market, limited. Mostly tourism, outdoor education, and people selling canoes out of their garages. Ely's economy is 40% outdoor gear, 40% granola, and 20% my cousin Jim does odd jobs. Now let's talk consequences. Living in Ely is peaceful, yes, but also cold enough to traumatize your bones. Winters here aren't just chilly, they're survival mode. We're talking minus 30 degrees Fahrenheit with wind chill that could strip paint off a truck. You haven't known true fear until your eyelashes freeze together while taking out the trash. The snow doesn't melt, it just moves around. And don't expect fancy coffee. I asked for an oat milk latte and got black coffee and a concerned stare like I'd insulted someone's grandmother. But okay, picture this. It's early morning. There's fresh snow on the ground, not a sound in the world except a crackling fireplace and the distant howl of a wolf. You're wrapped in a wool blanket with a mug of coffee, and outside, a frozen lake reflects the northern lights. Yeah, that'll do. Ely, where your dreams are frozen, literally, and the wildlife might be more active than the job market. And if you think Ely is remote, the next town makes off the grid feel like Times Square. Alright, quick breather before we dive back into more mountain madness. Fun fact, Wallace, Idaho. Remember our legally self-declared center of the universe? Yeah, they did that with zero scientific evidence and a manhole cover. Honestly, peak small-town confidence. No notes. And here's one for the wait what files. In 2021, a moose broke into a school gym in Ely, Minnesota during PE class. No one was hurt, but a 6th grader now claims he technically wrestled wildlife. Respect. If we've already mentioned your town, congrats, you officially live somewhere cool. If we skipped your favorite mountain spot, yell at me in the comments. I can take it. Also, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next batch of hidden gems, accidental Bavarian villages, and overpriced coffee towns. You know who you are, oat milk survivors of Cloudcroft. Like this video because it's the only one today that didn't try to sell you a crypto course. Subscribe because someday you'll want to disappear into the woods, and I'm basically your GPS for that escape. By the way, Leavenworth has a nutcracker museum with over 7,000 nutcrackers. That's not a town. That's a Tim Burton subplot. And trust me, if you thought that was weird, the next town might just make your HOA nightmares feel like a vacation. Number 5, Stanley, Idaho. Next up at number 5 is Stanley, Idaho, a place so beautiful it feels fake, and so cold it'll remind you you're alive. Nestled in the Sawtooth Mountains, Stanley looks like it was handcrafted by an outdoorsy graphic designer with zero chill and a drone license. Population: less than 100 people. That's right, more elk than humans, more stars than light bulbs, and you could literally high-five the mayor on your morning walk. Probably by accident. Here's what you're really signing up for. Median home price: around $395,000, if you can even find one on the market. Rent: $1,000 to $1,300 per month in the 2 places available. Cost of living: roughly 8% lower than national average, if you're okay with making your own coffee. Crime rate: basically non-existent. You're more likely to be attacked by a moose than a human. Job market: tourism, guiding, or working remote. That's it. No startups. No Starbucks. Definitely no Uber Eats. Stanley's idea of rush hour is when 3 hikers show up at the same trailhead. But now the fun part. Stanley holds the record for being the coldest place in the lower 48. We're talking minus 54 degrees Fahrenheit in winter. That's not cold. That's your eyebrows froze into little icicle daggers cold. Also, stores close early. Not because of laws, just because people here don't care if you want chips at 8:05 p.m. Let's be clear. Stanley is stunning until your plumbing freezes, your phone dies from cold, and you're shoveling snow while wondering if bears hibernate in attics. I once went to Stanley in March and left with a tan and frostbite. How? No idea. Mountain sorcery. Still, imagine waking up to that sawtooth skyline. The air is silent. The river steams in the cold. Your coffee tastes like it was brewed in heaven. Then a coyote jogs by like it's late for work. You can't make this stuff up. Stanley is heaven, if your version of heaven includes wood stoves, 0 bars of signal, and possibly frostbite. Stanley has one of the lowest crime rates in America, and yet Chicago has better winter survival odds. Go figure. Would you live in a place this remote if it meant 0 traffic, 0 crime, and 50 below? Yes, or I like my toes, thanks. And if you thought Stanley was extreme, the next town is like a high-elevation fever dream, and somehow it still has art galleries. Number 4. Bisbee, Arizona. Okay, number 4 is Bisbee, Arizona, aka that place your artsy friend moved to and now only wears vintage denim. Once a booming copper mining town, Bisbee reinvented itself as a quirky, high-elevation art colony with steep hills, bold murals, and just enough ghosts to keep things interesting. It's like if Sedona drank espresso, dyed its hair purple, and started selling crystals on Etsy. But behind the artsy, Wild West vibe is a town that's shockingly livable if you can handle a little eccentricity. Population: about 4,900, but with the personality of 50,000. Median home price: around $240,000. Yeah, you read that right. Rent: typically between $800 to $1,200 per month. Cost of living: 17% below the national average. Crime rate: lower than most Arizona towns. Just watch your garden gnomes. The locals are creative. Job market: local businesses, tourism, remote work, and the occasional haunted hotel gig. Bisbee's the only place where you can buy a handmade ceramic skull, get your tarot read, and accidentally join a poetry slam, all before lunch. But don't pack your caftan just yet. Living in Bisbee comes with its own unique challenges. First, stairs. Bisbee has over 1,000 public stairs, and no, that's not an exaggeration. Your morning jog will feel like you're training for the Hunger Games. Also, parking is a myth. You'll spend more time circling the block than actually driving anywhere. And yes, some locals will absolutely judge your aura if you order the wrong kind of chai. Still, picture this. You're sipping coffee from a balcony, overlooking bright adobe houses stacked like Tetris blocks on canyon walls. You hear jazz drifting from a vinyl shop. The desert sun warms your face, a street artist waves, and somewhere a rooster is definitely crowing at 2 p.m. Bisbee is what happens when a desert town takes acid, finds a paintbrush, and never looks back. Living in Bisbee feels like stepping into a low-key art film. Color everywhere, laughter around every corner, and somehow, despite the chaos, rent you can actually afford. And if you think Bisbee is wild, the next place somehow made weird a competitive sport, and it wins every time. Number 3. Homer, Alaska. At number 3 is Homer, Alaska, aka the end of the road. Literally, it's where the paved highway stops and the last frontier starts. Homer's a fishing town turned artist colony turned accidental tourist destination, all wrapped in jaw-dropping glaciers, bald eagles, and more pickup trucks than people. Locals call it where the land meets the sea and the sea throws a party. I call it Alaska's answer to Key West, but with fleece and halibut instead of flip-flops and rum. Here's what you need to know before you start packing flannel. Median home price, about $350,000, surprisingly reasonable for coastal Alaska. Rent averages between $1,100 to $1,400 per month, depending on season, and, if it has actual heat. Cost of living, roughly 30% higher than the U.S. average, because everything comes by boat or plane. Job market, fishing, tourism, hospitality, and people selling dream catchers next to smoked salmon. Crime rate, low, unless you count crimes against fashion during winter layering. In Homer, your neighbor might be a painter, a crab fisherman, and a poet, and that's just one guy. Now let's talk about the stuff that doesn't make the travel blogs. Winter in Homer isn't just cold, is that a bear in my driveway, or am I hallucinating from cabin fever? Cold. Also, don't expect convenience. You want Thai food at 9 p.m.? Cool. Hop a plane to Anchorage. Here's the deal. In Homer, the weather changes faster than your group chat. It's raining, then hailing, then beautiful, for 5 minutes. And everyone drives around with at least one spare fishing rod in their truck bed, like it's state law. Also, fun surprise, your Amazon package might arrive next month. But imagine waking up to mist rolling off Kachemak Bay. You hear waves lapping, bald eagles shrieking in the distance, like patriotic seagulls, and the smell of salt with smoke and your neighbor's fresh halibut. You breathe in, and suddenly, rush hour feels like a myth. Homer is paradise until you realize paradise doesn't deliver pizza after 7. And if you think Homer is remote, wait till you see the next town, where the gondola is literally public transportation. Number 2, Telluride, Colorado. Alright, number 2 on our list is Telluride, Colorado, the James Bond of mountain towns. It's rich, rugged, mysterious, and somehow, everyone who visits ends up either buying a chalet or reevaluating their life choices. This place sits in a box canyon so dramatic, it looks like a Bob Ross fever dream. You've got ski runs that start right from the edge of town, waterfalls on your commute, and a free gondola that doubles as public transportation. Yeah, a gondola. Beat that Uber. But here's where fantasy meets financial trauma. Median home price, $1.7 million. That's not a house, that's a mortgage-induced identity crisis. Rent, around $2,500 per month for something that doesn't involve a roommate named Mountain Mold. Cost of living, a jaw-dropping 57% above the national average. Crime rate super low, probably because no one can afford to be shady. Job market, heavy on hospitality, tourism, and real estate, like luxury real estate. Telluride is so fancy, even the snow has an agent. Living here is pure magic if you're a ski bum with a trust fund or a barista with 6 side hustles. Okay, real talk. $7 for drip coffee? And that's before tip. You'll see a Range Rover parked next to a Subaru covered in ski stickers, and no one blinks. Also, everyone hikes on purpose. For fun. At altitude, I went for a casual walk and had to sit down halfway through and reevaluate my cardio decisions. Still, imagine waking up to sunrise, lighting up 13,000-foot peaks. You take the gondola to get groceries, casually. A waterfall thunders in the distance, while someone's dog skis better than you ever will. And yeah, the air smells like pine snow and wealth. Telluride's great, if you can afford it. I make lattes for billionaires and live in a 1989 camper. But the view? $1 million therapy. You thought Cloudcroft was high up? Telluride just laughed and ski jumped over it in a Patagonia vest. Quick stat bomb. In 2022, a one-bedroom in Telluride sold for $950,000. That's not a condo, that's a glorified snow globe. And if you think Telluride is the peak, the next town is where art, altitude, and ancient traditions collide, and somehow it still feels chill. Number 1, Taos, New Mexico. Here we are, number 1. Taos, New Mexico, the mountain town that somehow blends ancient culture, modern art, ski culture, and desert mysticism into one oddly perfect place. It's got adobe everything, 13,000-foot peaks, and sunsets that look like the sky hired a private colorist. Artists, monks, hippies, ranchers, retirees, remote workers, all of them, living in harmony, or at least peaceful disagreement. There's also Taos Pueblo, a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of the oldest continuously inhabited communities in the U.S. That's 1,000 years of humans deciding, yeah, we'll stay here. But Taos isn't all spiritual awakenings and pastel paintings. Median home price, $370,000. Not bad for a town this deep in character. Average rent, $1,200 to $1,600 per month. Cost of living, about 5 to 10% above the national average. Manageable if you don't eat out every night. Crime rate, moderate. Let's just say some bad vibes, but not enough to harsh your whole zen. Job market, arts, tourism, small biz, and remote gigs. Or just sell dream catchers next to organic green chili burritos. Taos is one of the few places where someone might offer you a tarot reading, goat cheese, and property taxes advice in the same conversation. And somehow, it all checks out. Living in Taos is either your spirit alignment dream or your I just want a good Wi-Fi nightmare. It's beautiful, sure, but it's also dusty, quirky, and the kind of place where your barista is also a Reiki healer and probably your landlord. The driving in Taos, absolute chaos. Lanes are suggestions. Speed limits are vibes. And parking downtown? You'll need divine intervention and at least 2 crystals. Also, if you're the kind of person who needs a target within 10 minutes, I've got bad news, friend. That red bullseye is miles away. But hey, picture it. You're walking through town as the sun sets behind the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. The air smells like sage and wood smoke. Someone's playing flute on a rooftop. You just bought handmade pottery from a guy named Moonface. And you're weirdly at peace. Taos is magic. Also mildly haunted, slightly chaotic, and totally worth it. Imagine living where every day feels like a movie scene. Earth tones, turquoise skies, mountain silence. A place where the ancient lives right next to the artsy and the pace. Peaceful chaos. Affordable-ish, soulful, and 100% unforgettable. Like this video because let's be honest, you're definitely going to bring up Taos at brunch now. Subscribe because one day you'll get tired of your HOA emails and want to move to a place with mountain goats and soul. This channel, your unofficial escape plan. You just survived 10 unbelievable mountain towns. Which one's calling your name? Drop it in the comments, light a candle, maybe consult a crystal.